Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time we are here with the player who got second place at YCS Birmingham with Maliss. And do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and do any shoutouts before we hop in?
Yes. So hi everyone here. So this is Tony, and before we actually start, I just want to shout out to all my Chinese friends who support me with the list, especially Peter Shaw and Anthony Xu. And so let's just get into the deck profile just really quick as the format is moving on, and I guess I'll just generically explain some of the choice of deck cards and something like that was happening that out of our expectation, but turns out good is not the best in the end. So let's just jump into the list. So start with uh three Ash Silver Standard. Um, I think in one of our earlier version we cut Ash, but certainly just realized it was too good against any other decks in the format. You can just Ash the Mitsurugi cards, Ash the Charmies, and it's just if you draw Ash on you I mean, draws by Cassie Cat or just one binder is just like another interruption on your opponent's turn. So the feel is alright, and this is like the only card in our deck which can literally stop the dual drive for now. So has to play it.
hmm
And six Bestial, I think it's like if you play 5 or 6, which should be alright, but you probably don't really want to play more. I think like if you play 10 at YCS Orlando, that's probably correct because like the majority of the residual decks are on Finn Smith. You just want to just get rid of all the Finn Smith cards. But with the format moving on slightly into Birmingham, we are seeing a whole lot of like say pure residual players, which means like if you draw 10 Bestial, unless you draw Druid Worm, the rest of them are just probably heartbreak. Because like I think majority of the players I see at YCS Birmingham, they would do like Alex send dual drive to graveyard, which means like you probably don't have any other targets say like light for you to banish in the graveyard on the whole turn. So and just to maintain the number of extenders you have, and there is not that a great hand trap against pure ratio, so it's like 5 to 6 is probably the correct number. And after to shifter, so I think like shifter is as well not that great against pure ratio, but at least it just stopped them from like drawing extra cards with their extra deck, like the Dugraris. And you can't really stop parts or any other things like searches under shifter, but it's just good enough. And I think another important reason you want to have it in your deck is like when going first in game 2 and game 3, where you can possibly get Lancia, it's another turn skipper, which kind of ensure that you can buy yourself a turn. You won't be either just like killed or just like they can't push up enough say advantages
Yeah.
after you shift your turn, even you get Lancia on turn 1. So I think that's another reason why you should play it in your main deck.
Also,
And
oh my bad. Real quick. So I saw a lot of people who chose to side deck Shifter at YCS Birmingham. How do you feel about like main decking versus side decking that card?
I feel like you want to just earn as much as value in the main deck, especially I think like for the first few rounds you're going to play more rogue decks, and just main deck shifter will ensure that you go through those like first few rounds and into the later rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Because I play against I think two branded on the first 3 rounds. One of the guy told me he beat uh Christopher LeBlanc on the second round. I was kind of shocked because I know that LeBlanc was a really good player.
mm-hmm.
And then I shifted him and found out he was on branded, and I just won from there.
Yeah. Was that the guy playing 60 card branded?
Oh yes, it is.
Yup,
Uh,
yup, yup. I heard about that.
right. So and we were expecting there to be more Finn Smith ratio, so another reason just play shifter. Oh, and one very important thing I want to notice about shifter, and I will talk later on the Mucharmis follows as well, which is like you in my tag you should never kind of like drop it in standby phase or just draw phase. You should at least to see like what deck you put on and commit a bit before you actually drop the shifter, because there are going to be situations where, say, like if you drop shifter in the draw phase or standby phase, your opponent just go bonfire into an ice or XT and go into detonator pass where you don't have an auto detonator, which is kind of terrible. But if you just say you play against Finsmith Rizio, you just drop the shifter after the movement of the closed sky. They can't detonator anymore because like everything the third risk work cannot special summon again. And all they can do from then is like pass with say the field spell, one material deal drive, which kind of like say equals to a monster negate, but that's already better than detonator to all in the undershifter for Maliss. So and some people just don't know what to do after like the on the step of moon the being shifter. So I guess like just drop shifter in the main phase was probably something that is like kind of outstanding out of my strategies against others. So that's the thing to mention. And I think there are games where say like although it doesn't quite count in the end, but like I didn't drop shifter after I realized it was a mirror, so it saved me a card in the hand.
Yeah.
And afterwards just two chassis 2 or 3 is like minor changes, but like just it feels like chassis is still a good card to draw going first. I was thinking I will lose more death rolls as euros. I just like say 6 be still 2 chassis. Otherwise, it's like you can go 5 be still 3 chassis, which is like should be fine. Doesn't really matter that much at this stage. And 6 of the best names have to play those. And Valos. I guess like it's like instead of say playing Imperm Veiler or Nibiru, those like hand trap which kind of works sometimes, which doesn't really work at the other times, especially like after I think YCS Orlando, like a lot of like the pure Rizzo players are playing like 4 to 6 books in their main deck, which means like if you play Vader or just Imper, just hard to they join books on their dual drive. So a better way for Maliss to win the game is actually just to say like to make your opponent pass on a board as small as possible while you maintain the number of cards in your hand. So like if you hold Valos, just like say to the main phase where it's like you get exit, you kind of guaranteed to draw one, and they can pass on solar board, and this give you a higher chance to actually win in the consequent game. And just same to the shifter, I probably never draw follows in standby phase or main phase. So most time just want to guarantee that I at least draw one card, and that's it.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
And I think I kind of get the idea from the video you just Honey coached you earlier as well, of like whether you want to draw follows like say like in mid phase or standby phase, and I think I learned from that as well. So many thanks.
No worries.
And just Allure, this deck has a few consistency issues, so you probably forced to play Allure until we have the new name from the next set. So just why not? I think I break a few times throughout the tournament. It's like 3 games or 4 games, and every time, and I think 80% of the times I break, I lose. So and so same Ghost Arc, maximum field spells, and just Metatronus as a really good card for both Mirror Match and Auto Detonator. It's like although it's got quite popular, but still like a lot of people in the Swiss role aren't really expecting you to just Metatronus their detonator or whatever. And so but I think like I said it out going first most of the times because like apparently like Party said deck are better. And so this is probably only going to be my deck in just games where game 1, which is like game 3 or game 2 where I go second. Terraforming as a actual field spell, and just one talent should be enough because I found out the majority of the times like rest of the players tends to drop everything at draw phase or standby phase, and it actually doesn't really hurt the deck, and the majority of times you lose to 1 imper on your only starter. So talent was kind of alright, but I think 1 is definitely enough. Impulse was like kind of like fear of what's that? Mitsurugi Rizu, where just hold until you impulse their ratio, and that should be fine. And I think like on the other hand, I just put into some consideration of the mirror match as we already played, say like 6 still 3 shifter, which kind of aren't that great in the mirror match. So just kind of like you want to push a bit more to just balancing the cards that are good or not facing each of the deck in the format, and I think just impulse is good. So another reason is like you can just like say impulse neighbor going second, or when you have a trap in the graveyard, when you're going first, impulse is really strong, you just impulse their ass and they will just probably pass or just die from there. And one of each trap, sorry. So pretty standard, not much to say. So you can see the list is pretty similar to Jeff's, or like the mid deck is the same, because like in one of the initial version we have at a very early stage, our only difference with Jeff's list was like we choose Imper instead of Follows. And after we see the playoff and results in the say Western order, we immediately realize and agree with what Jeff says, that Charmy is like a better out, like say against all the Razio matchup. So we just swap the Imper to Charmy's. So which turned out to be a correct choice in the end. So that's for the main deck. And coming to the side deck, say our choice is almost kind of like almost the same with Jeff's theory as well. So just Lancia for the mirror, Julius for the Razio matchup, and Hallby going first. Strauss and Strike to buy you turns under Lancia. And the only 2 different tech cards we choose is the Mischief of the Gnomes and the Harvey's Feather Duster. And this is a set deck choice I always just say play in this format against Razio, because I think like majority of the times stopping your opponent by 1 turn wasn't just good enough. And I think like against different variant of Razio, you are more or less scared of their detonator instead of like say the Finsmith, because apparently you have more cards that will just stop the Finsmith engine from like say just build up. But like against the Razor engine, there wasn't really cards good enough in our build. So just Mischief can lock your opponents for 2 turns, and the level on after they summon the monster on field won't restore to 4 even after the turn end. So which means like they can buy you 2 turns, which is like good enough for us to choose it. And we played Duster instead of the Artifact Sanctum because we thought it won't be that many mirror match, as well as like just Sanctum lose to Ash and Impulse at the same time, while you already have like some really good cards going first as well. You can study Lancia and Strike, which is kind of like crazy in mirror match going first as well. So we saw we probably don't need that one extra Sanctum just to skewer more on the mirror match. And the Duster actually saved me a few times where I was going second against like Razio, where just Duster hit the Strike, Soldring, and sometimes Bookie leaves and drop it. So and there are other times where they activate Lancia in the standby phase, and I chain Metatronus to banish the detonator, and I just thrust in the Duster, clear all their back row and the field spell, and just hoping they won't kill me next turn. And there are times where I win, but like some other times like they have follow-ups, so I die anyway. But still, I think like in a format where say Birmingham there was more pure Razio, like Duster was like a decent choice, just going second. And I think into mirror, if like say your opponent was on a similar strategy, you probably want to Duster them as well, because they'll probably have Metatronus set down anyway and strikes hopefully in the same time. So that's for that deck. And in the end, we just came to the actual just like 1 detonator for the Metatronus. I think I do this like 3 or 4 times, and every time I resolve the Metatronus, I just win the game from there. And there's one round where opponent just like he discarded an Ash and kept callback, hoping the callback will just interrupt me more, but I just dead Metatronus, he's dead there, and he was like, oh, I should keep that Ash. And about never summon it once, to be fair, because the majority of times I just find myself ending on either Firewall or just Tripter plus the 06 pass. And I think that's like a strategical choice where I say we will probably never summon a ball going first because like if you go for the Griffin line, sometimes you need like people would tend to say make mistakes to just flip GWC06 first to just gain some more left points, and then they want to use Griffin to reset it. But like it introduced some just risk where just people don't know where to drop hand traps, but then they suddenly realize there's a point where I drop you a knee, you just lose from there because like you already use GWC06 because you go went for greedy, so you want to extend hair into a ball. So majority of times I just to minimize the risk of overextending, so I always just end on just Firewall Dragon and the Encryptor. If we don't play Metatronus in the future, say like if there's Finn Smith Rizio just win the auto format or whatever, it's like this as a target to the hiking cedar as well, but like probably if Metatronus was no longer in the main deck, we'll probably cut this in the future. So hopefully there will be more free spot and just SS code. Maliss is a deck which probably don't have that much ODK pressure, but like the ability of SS code to banish you link monster was definitely like say more important in this deck. So got to play it. And Dark Charmer was a super interesting card that we decided we'll play in the end. It's like ideally is very good in the mirror where you can just steal their white binder to set your own trap. But I got rid of once, so this actually never come up. But like people seems to be more afraid of the effect which let you search a Maliss monster. So I think it happens at least twice where I make a Dark Charmer using the Druid's Worm and Druid's Worm trying to target the detonator, and they just let the detonator dies and they won't even pop my Dark Charmer because they're afraid I will search one from Dark Charmer, which I don't think is actually correct. But it happens a few times, which just give me enough advantages to just finish the game from there. Firewall probably one of the best cards. Because I think another key reason that why we don't play Griffin is like you play Griffin, you tend to make strategical mistakes where you summon Griffin in your own turn, and the first movement they just like X pitch mirror logic just negate your Griffin, and which is kind of terrible because the level 4 for all the Rizio decks is kind of limited to like say 4 to 6, and if you interruption doesn't actually remove their level 4 it actually doesn't mean it actually does a lot. But like say if you have a calling firewall at the first stage, even if they say like they X pitch mirror logic target firewall, you can still bounce the X to the hand which means like they have like say 1 dice 4 OR. So just prefer firewall make smaller boards and you just win easier when you play into a just resource game rather than say I want to make a crazy board going first. Lizard just have to play it. Doesn't really need any explanation. IP was a card for scenarios where you need say you get nipped and you have one more name say which haven't been triggered yet, so you just use the token to make the IP and hoping on your opponent turn you can just still link into a firewall SP just for more interruptions. And Phoenix was kind of like say supplement with the eyeball because you need a Fiend just to make a ball, but and generally is a good card for back removal. And someone told like they want to play Nightmare Servers as well, just as a possible all to the what's that card called, Case Hunter. But I feel like in majority of the times, say like if you just was playing your turn 0 combos where they drop Chaos Hunter, like you probably don't have enough value to say like go into the servers first and then go back to Maliss. And if they drop it in the midboard where you have like enough links or just monsters on the field, you probably can go into any other thing to all the Chaos Hunter as well. So we just choose to play Griffin in the end. And oh sorry, not Griffin, Phoenix in the end. And just Lingerable, Decoder, standard, no need to expand, and Victor, Ransom, Binder. I actually found I didn't actually summon Ransom that many times, because majority of the times I was starting my hand with a field spell plus a Maliss name. And at that stage I realized that like say because I don't play Dogskipper, banish the Ransom won't give me any extra value. So what I do most of the time is just like say just three monster into decoder and then just binder with 06 already set it by Rapid at the backhand. And if they don't have any driver at this stage, I will just white set 11, banish white some other name and just into the cryptor, which turned out to like is enough to win most of games, surprisingly. But I think that's kind of like the idea after for the current format is like you just make smaller balls, keep your resources, and play resource game with your opponent, and you just all grant them from the resource you search and card you draw. It's not you want to make just like a board which kind of like say secure you to win on turn 2. And SP have to play just for majority of combos where just banish you link 3 to play around Nibiru. And Splash. A card which I actually hate because it lost into Cybers, but I find that tons of people actually playing the what's that card called that like say just makes you can't banish from graveyard and just choose one from 3. What's the name again? Can't remember.
You can't banish from grave.
Yeah, I think it's the card which like the tech card Santoli introduced as a set that card for the pure resil, where it's like you choose one from the 3 effects. Either you can banish from grave, you can splash
The
from.
Gravekeeper's inscription.
Oh yeah, Graveyard Inscription. I found tons of people actually use inscription to call like you can banish from graveyard against Maliss, but like you just make splash or just you just start with field spell going to splash, and that doesn't actually hurt that much. So yes, I guess that's generally it. And I think like in the end I just want to say shout out to Jeff Jones as well, who just brought the list to third place in the first hand, and we can then just and it confirmed our belief that our choice was correct, and just make some changes according to his list, and we kept some of our origin choice, as like we didn't play Griffin and we kept the Duster and the Mischief. So yeah, that's like the deck for now. And just for the final game 3, I think I misplayed quite hard for revealing that thrust. So, but if Dinka has 2, say, Chaos Hunter in his hand at this point, I think even if I manage to just steal the first one with thrust, the second one where I'll probably go for the line SP tries to banish my link 3, but at that stage, if I got hit with the second Chaos Hunter, it was probably GG's anyway. So didn't feel that regretful afterwards after we analyzed a bit. And yeah, that's kind of all the idea behind this deck for now. And if you still want to play this deck, you probably want to wait till May until they drop another ban list and when you have the new sport. Otherwise, like I think if you still want to play this deck in the new 7 card format, you just get hit with Lancia every time, every game, which is like terrible.
Yeah, no, that's
So
fair. Yeah, adding Lancia is really tough for this deck.
yeah, it is. Like Shinping just told me, like, say, if I can search Lancia every turn, I would definitely drop it every drop it. I say, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Do you have any final words you want to say before we hop off here?
I guess not really, but I feel like it feel really good to prove myself using this deck to become second place, and I think I before the match started, I just joked. I want to at least do better than Jeff Jones, but like in the end, I kind of like make it, and I guess nothing much from that. Then just maybe see you guys probably in some finals sooner or later, hopefully.
But all right, yeah, I think all right, that's gonna be it for the video. And you know, thank you for doing the deck profile with me, and congrats on the top. Hopefully next time we see you take home the trophy. And yeah, I guess with all that being said, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace.